NHS is working on old processes. We need to revamp, renew. So I'm hoping that healthcare changes to become more efficient.
Early in the morning,
The camera's rolling. Right, let me do this little introduction thing. So, I'm so gassed, yo. You know what it is, Topical Juice. I'm Cam, I'm with, like, let me just take time, yeah. Obviously it's Corona season, otherwise I'd be hugging and kissing this girl all over, but right now let me introduce one of my best friends, my sister, the queen, Baz.
I'm
actually mad excited because
I'm excited as well.
This is my first ever, like, video featuring someone that's not a vlog. So I'm mad excited. I'm excited to bend your ear, to learn myself. Because obviously when we were actually like planning the video like 10 minutes ago, there was stuff that Baz is gonna mention that I don't even know about at all. So it's not like it's not no acting thing. I'm gonna be learning here, educated as well. Like I'm excited. So yeah. So obviously as you can see by the video's title, actually what are we gonna even title this video?
I feel like let's see what
the narrative's like,
and then we'll be able to come up with a title.
Okay. I suppose the focus of this video is just going to be about coronavirus, kind of debunking the myths, looking into mental health, just about basically making sure that we understand each other, because there's been a lot of, obviously the world's gone mad. I can't even lie, like, the world's descended into madness.
Unprecedented times.
But Baz, tell the viewers, tell them a bit about yourself. Where's your knowledge, where's your experience come from?
So obviously my name's Baz.
The queen.
And I'm a pharmacist. So I work in a hospital. Hashtag frontline staff.
Come on.
So yeah, that's really where my expertise comes from. But obviously, and I want to stress this, is that this is like a new thing, like it's a novel virus, and they mean that it's new. So we don't know that much about it. Obviously, evidence is growing as we go along, but information is going to be changing all the time. So obviously, I know some things about it, but I can only know as much as the next person, really. And obviously I can talk about my experiences from working in hospital as well, but the information is out there for all of us.
What do you mean that it's new? Because obviously I know that The Simpsons, for example, I know it sounds dumb, but you know The Simpsons like predicted the whole coronavirus thing. They're not predicted, but clearly there's been a precedent beforehand that coronavirus has existed in China, surely, or Asia. So what do you mean by new?
So people need to understand like the difference between COVID-19 and coronavirus. Okay. COVID-19 is a coronavirus. Coronavirus is an umbrella term for a group of viruses that can cause respiratory disease and illness. So like the common flu, the common cold, seasonal flu, and other like respiratory conditions. Yeah. But COVID-19 itself is a different strain of the virus that's completely new. We've not seen it before. So people know, like with the seasonal flu, you can get a vaccine for it, but it doesn't cover all strains because the flu and viruses mutate quite quickly. So that's what we mean by new. COVID-19 itself is new, not coronavirus is new. So it's important to differentiate between the two.
Is it true that it came from bats? Or this strain of it?
Yeah.
I don't understand. So you see humans, and like diseases that come from animals. Do we have to have sex with them to get this?
No, and to be honest, this isn't my area of expertise. Because that's like a whole, epidemiology and like vaccination and things like that. But like, it's that. All I know is that somehow it jumps, and it has to be from physical contact. So obviously the way they kind of have markets in China is animals are right there in the midst of humans. So it's very, say I don't know, a bat sneezed and then the droplets went up to the human.
Actually true.
That's how I would imagine, not necessarily a bat sneezing.
Can you imagine a bat sneezing?
I can't imagine a bat sneezing. I don't know, bat sneeze. I don't know specifically how it transfers from animal to human, but that is how it happened.
What's the timeline been then? Because obviously it only feels like a month or two, or not even 2 months. It feels even less than that it started. Then obviously I went to Miami. We were thinking, I wonder would it affect our events cancelled, roads blocked, fairs just popping up everywhere.
That's mad.
It was crazy. So obviously, so when was the first, I'm actually very intrigued, when was the first case and how the hell did we get here?
Yeah, happening? I think the first case was actually around November times in Wuhan, but they didn't declare it as like an issue until like the end of December. So it was like the 31st of December, China went to WHO, World Health Organization, and said, okay, we've got a situation.
Woohoo.
No, WHO.
Oh, is it?
World Health, WHO, World Health Organization. And so obviously they kept an eye on it, and then they realised, oh shit, this is spread, this is a pandemic now, which basically means it's a global issue. And what we also have to remember is, I wasn't surprised that it went like this. Obviously, we were keeping up. We were like, oh shit, there's this like outbreak in China. Like, what's going on?
So were you following that personally, or was that something that the hospitals are keeping an eye on?
I was just following it.
I
don't think people really thought it would touch us. I think they actually thought it would stay in China, or not spread that far, kind of like Ebola. But then there was something that came out. It was like 5 million. Yeah, it did. 5 million people left Wuhan before they even closed the borders and were like, shit, we've got a problem. 5 million people. And obviously we're being shown now how easy it is. One person can infect loads of people. So think about 5 million.
If we've already got precedents for coronavirus, like the umbrella exists or whatever, and we've got different types of flus, X, Y, Z, is there not like almost like a precedent vaccine that might take us halfway there, rather than almost like a template to help us? It must be, surely.
Well, so yes, and I think a lot of people probably would have heard of like all the different things that could potentially be used. Like Donald Trump tweeted about hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin being used in that. There's no.
What the hell is that?
So so these are just the name of drugs. Hydroxychloroquine is used to treat malaria and other diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, and then azithromycin is an antibiotic. So there was some evidence, like case study basis evidence, to say that hydroxychloroquine could be effective. So there's things that, so people would have been, I don't know how they do it in the labs, and they would have been like, okay, so we've got this virus, what usually affects virus, what usually viruses, what usually kills them. Okay, we use antiretrovirals which kill HIV, we could try that, so they have been trying that, but like, at the end of the day, all of this is very experimental. and usually... How long does it take? They say it could take about 12 to 18 months, and that's a sped up... That's speeding up the process, because things go through trials, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You're supposed to test it out, and then test it in a lab first, and then you don't get to humans until much later, but they're trying it on humans now, because obviously we're in a situation where you got to try and figure it out real quick, so people waiting for a vaccine.
Just video is called that. Hurry up, bro.
Need it now.
Trust me, when I saw the first news article, like, the first vaccine, we're hoping it's ready by 12 months time.
Yeah.
12 months. As I said last I checked. I swear the world's going to lock down now. What's going on?
Dying now. That's why they say that they're talking about, and there was this mention of like herd immunity. And that being our best way.
Let's talk about this, because Boris Johnson said this, innit? And obviously, he's an idiot.
And I forget the name of the chief scientific, but he said
he's saying the same thing.
Chief scientific officer or something like that.
So correct me if I'm wrong. What do you call it again? Herd
immunity.
Herd immunity. Is that like letting enough people get it?
Yeah.
So that you essentially train your immunity to combat it? Whatever.
Yeah.
What's the pros to that, and then what's the actual realistic cons to letting a certain amount, a percentage, get ill?
Yeah.
Bearing in mind we're a country that likes to travel, we want to get out. I don't understand.
Yeah, the thing is, it's risky. It's risky because people can die. So obviously, you're saying that like, okay, herd immunity,
population control, and these things.
Survival of the fittest.
That's actually a conversation.
Tense conversation. The pros of herd immunity is that it basically stops. Because, for example, China, right? They sorted it out.
Yeah.
Well, they sorted it out. Everything was on lockdown. Everything lock off. Everything, they got it contained.
Everything sectioned.
I was like, wait, what is he trying to do here? And then I just got, I don't know. Okay, we can try and roll.
Hold on. So obviously everything lock off. We're sectioned, boys.
Forever section.
Forever section, boy. Hey, we got K, by the way.
New styles.
Oh my days. Right, actually, shout out, listen. New Styles Forever Section EP coming so soon.
Go follow that on YouTube, go subscribe.
New Styles, follow New Styles, obviously.
Forever Section on Instagram.
That's my brother that. Anyway.
In China, they've managed to get it contained, but say they now start letting people out slowly, or they start letting people out, and there are some people who are just carriers. So they just carried it, they didn't necessarily show any symptoms. They might still pass it on. And then before you know it, you've got an outbreak again. But if you've got people who are immune to it, so they've carried it, they're now immune to it, they can't spread it on because they've fought the virus. So then they're not infectious or contagious anymore. That's the benefit of herd immunity. But there's a certain number, I think it's 60 or 80% of the population needs to be immune to it for it actually to. And they did it with other like infections.
I did burp.
Yeah, I heard it. I'm right here. And I'm looking at you. Because, do you know what? I always feel like when people hide burps, like obviously obviously, if you're gonna do a belt shot,
It's bait, and it is bait because you can hear the growl.
But if you just got a little one that's got to come out, why are we apologise? That's our body. Like, what are we supposed to do?
I'll be one thing. I'm actually not gonna ever apologise for burping. But in terms of manners, I'll just be like, oh, excuse me. Like,
yeah, excuse me. Yeah.
But either way, if I'm gonna burp, I'm just gonna burp.
You got to fart. Like, what do you want me to do?
Kalade knows about that.
It's bodily systems. We need to get it out.
It's actually true.
Better out than in.
Logistics wise, how efficient actually? How can we actually do that?
No.
And also, part 2 of that question is, you see what Boris Johnson said? Were we actually doing that for a bit? Was that actually?
So I personally think
I didn't even follow.
Because obviously they mentioned it. And everyone went crazy, like, how can you say that? You know, people are gonna die. You don't mind that old people die. So I think they pulled back on that and they're trying to change the narrative now because they realise like British public aren't gonna go for that. But I think one of the reasons why they were hesitant to completely lock everything off quite quickly was that, just to allow people to still go outside and still potentially kind of carry it around so that people can become immune to it. So, and that is why they said, older people, just stay at home. If you're like over 75 and you're vulnerable, just stay at home, don't even risk it.
Okay.
But those of you who are still quite healthy, if you need to go pop to the shop, go pop to the shop. That's why people I think are very much like, it's not very clear like what the recommendations are. Should we all be staying at home or should we all be going out? I think they kind of kept it a little bit loose for a little while. One, for the economy, but also two, just to, but they can't say that.
Well, that leads me on nicely then to what the virus is and the perception around it here, because so from my perception of the the virus.
Did you get that? Did you follow that? Say that down.
So from my perspective, the perception I have of the virus is that I'm getting mixed signals. I'm looking at the experts on the TV and they're saying, they're on the news saying, it's just a flu. It's just a flu, don't panic. Yet old people or people who have underlying health issues, they could get ill or they could feel the effects worse or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. But then if it's just a flu, why has the world gone into meltdown? I'm literally saying, I'm flying here, I'm flying to Miami on Norwegian Airways. I'm then getting alerts 2 days later saying Norwegian Airlines had to let go of 80% of their staff. They're now calling for the government for bailouts. I'm thinking, I just flew with these. What happened? As in, what happened? I'm seeing BA's Virgin. I should have laughed, yeah. I should have laughed, yeah. The man, they were creasing on holiday because we saw one email like, things from BA, and it says something like, we're gonna let go of so many people. Help us. We need help.
Airlines asking for help now.
Like, help. I'm saying,
big airlines.
What happened? Big ass airlines where if they start operating, we hurt.
Yeah, we actually are.
So what's going on here?
I think social media and the internet has a huge part to play in this.
Can you agree with that?
Because this is literally unprecedented, and the speed at which information is traveling is crazy. It's not seen before. We're in different times, and I think that plays a part in how quickly things are moving. On top of that, people are able to move around the world a lot quicker, a lot easier. People travel a lot more than they did back then.
It's true.
And so things are spreading like crazy, information and the virus. So yes, in terms of the symptoms, they are similar to flu. If you have a mild case, you'll have like something like the flu, like a really bad flu, and you will feel really, really bad. Fatigued, all of that.
Oh, damn.
Headache, shivers,
like
shakes, fever, cough maybe. Like you will have that if it's a mild case. But what we're seeing with this virus, which I think is quite interesting because it's more something we see in bacterial infections, is that it can cause pneumonia. Which is like a serious infection. It causes this like sticky mucus that can build up in the lungs and that can be quite difficult to get out. And when you've got mucus in the lungs, you're not able to get oxygen inside properly. And then oh my god!
Allow it.
Okay, what towel can I use?
Use the top one.
This one?
Yeah, because that's calm.
And I thought to myself, you know what now? Let me not even lie. Oh, sorry, I didn't preempt that at all.
Yeah. Were you just about to say that?
I was about to say like, I saw the wind. Nah, I didn't think about that. Look at this. I'm in Cam's house. Who cleaned up the mess? Me.
for God's sake.
Stop putting on that windowsill, like just stop.
Okay.
So yeah, so you can get really, really sick from it. Fluid can build up in the lungs. And
the mucus and stuff like that.
Yeah, the mucus,
Yeah,
and then
pneumonia.
fluid can build up in the lungs. It's like you're drowning from the inside. Like, and this is why I know it's horrible. It's horrible. I just
Pneumonia.
think to myself, like, viruses are so evil. Like, they're so clever, but they're so evil. So it can cause that. So it can lead to that if you get a very serious case. Why not?
I don't know, I was just so jealous. The viruses are so clever. They're so evil.
It's true, man.
It's true.
Because nature will always be above man. Don't forget that.
Remember that, mother. Get it.
But yeah, so it can be something serious, and that is why you're seeing even young people in intensive care, because they'll get to that stage and it will be like they need oxygen, they need ventilators, they need help with breathing.
So if it's affecting young people then, which is part of the myth or whatever,
Yeah.
why is it rolling the dice or what?
It is, most of the time it is rolling the dice. Same way you could be around someone who has a cold and never get it. Do you know what I mean? Or you could be with
True
someone who had
that.
the flu and you just don't get it.
I don't
or
get
a
the flu.
cough.
I'd never,
No matter how much,
ever get the flu.
So
ever.
it's just like that. It's just how your immune system is able to fight off the virus. If you've got a good immune system, then you're okay. But that's not to say that it can't hit you. It's not to say that you can't even still develop a serious case, but you will overcome it if your immune system can fight it. The youngest person recorded to have died now is 18 years old, who did have underlying health conditions.
Okay.
But if you read it on Sky News, it says the death toll has gone up to this number.
Yeah.
All were aged between 18 and 102.
Yeah,
That makes it seem like there were bare people that were between
that's
18
everyone.
and... But there was one that was 18. So you have to be really careful when you're reading the news. It's so annoying. You have to look at multiple sources. Check really objective sources like World Health Organization, CDC.
Yeah. Not flipping the sun or
Not
something.
the, yeah, do you know what I mean?
Agenda,
Not,
like.
even BBC, like they will have an agenda in the way they're trying to portray it.
They do, I can't lie.
And they like to cause mass hysteria. They want everyone to be all like...
But you know what it is though? Because people within the media, a lot of them are sheep as well. So if they're sheep and they're kind of giving into the sheep-ish mentality, they've got the power to basically make people more sheep.
Yeah.
It's like
More sheep.
What came first, the chicken or the sheep? The sheep or the egg? The sheep or the calf?
What would that be? The sheep or the... Is it the calf?
No, because
What's a baby sheep?
A calf.
Oh.
Is it a calf? Or is
I
it a
don't
puppy?
know. A puppy.
It's not a puppy still, it's not a puppy, that's a dove. Either way, this leads us on to the almost like the final part of the video, which I'm kind of excited to pick your brains about, because me and Baz here, see me and Baz, we have good chats.
We do.
We have good chats on the balcony,
Good
just
chat.
laughing. We have good chats in backs of cars. We have good chats everywhere. Like
Voice notes back and forth.
Voice notes.
And what I love, about Cam, which you see in his videos,
Gas me up, go
is
on.
that is that he knows how to have an open discussion. I love it when Cam says to me, you know what, I disagree with what you said, because the way he says it, and then he'll come with a point, and I'm like, ooh, it's nice. We can actually have those kind of discussions. It's not about agreeing or agreeing all the time or having the same opinion. He literally makes me see things from a different perspective. Yeah, it's just communication.
Like me and Baz, we did this ages ago, that all the world's problems could just be over with a simple dialogue. What are we doing right now?
Bit of empathy, bit of communication, bit of a chat.
Bit of this, bit of that. And there you go, you got no world problems.
No wars,
There's
no hunger,
wars.
no poverty.
No, but deep it. Two people in a conversation. No politics, no economics. What's your opinion, what's my opinion, how do we compromise?
Exactly. No agendas. Yeah.
What's gonna happen in your opinion to the world, Baz? I said because I've been saying the world as we know it, it sounds dramatic, but the world as we know it's about to change, isn't it? We're about to come into a recession. You've even got people's behaviours are changing now. So the fact that I'm going into public toilets now and I'm actually seeing people wash their hands, that's shocking that people weren't doing that anyway. But I've seen the way people are moving now. They're giving the extra vim. As they should, but the extra word. But as in is our way of life going to change badly?
100%. And I'm hoping for the better. I'm hoping for the better. I think so many processes that we have in place are going to change. Like, you see how it was quite easy for people to just start working from home now. Like, if you can work remotely, they were just like, right, that's it, you just stay at home and you can do your jobs from home. I think that's going to change. I think a lot of jobs are going to consider that. If they're creating jobs, they're going to be thinking, can I work remotely? Like, and they're going to be sort of strengthening the, I don't know what you call it, like, the internet stuff. You might call that
internet. We just call it the Internet of Things, to be honest. That's actually what it is. Like,
oh, really?
Well, that's like the formal term in corporate. Like,
most things are going to try to be moved to like sort of online now.
Well, we always go in there anyway, because basically,
true.
One thing that I've been learning in my corporate journey is basically things called megatrends. So like, are you familiar with megatrends? So it's like people, different companies have different amount of megatrends, but it's like kind of 10 it's between like 8 to 11 megatrends basically. Some of them things like urbanization, globalization, ownership versus like renting, for example, how we don't. Yo, so the camera just, I don't even know what happened there. Oh, this stupid durag. The camera just, I'm not doing it tight enough, so it keeps going up in my head. Yeah. Velvet or red velvet,
it's nice, it's nice. Cake. I want to wear one.
You know, I've got a black one in there somewhere, but yo, so I don't actually know what happened there. We were just talking and the camera just switched off. So section.
Wait, why do you keep saying section? Oh, was it Section Boys?
Because Section Boys made the song. Oh. See, that's what I'm saying. So my bars are actually going over your head.
Well, no, anyone else would get that apart from me, because I just don't. Sorry to.
We even saw Section Boys together. You fool.
Oh.
The world's going the way of working from home anyway.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, we're part of like the millennials.
Yeah.
Gen Y, whatever the hell we are. Where everyone's working from home anyway. Like people don't really want the traditional office spaces and stuff. So I'm glad that the world was moving there, or is moving there. But by the looks of this coronavirus-ish.
Should speed it up.
Yeah, so what do you reckon is going to be one of the biggest major changes that's going to, like the world, we're going to notice about the UK, in London, whatever, like what's your predictions?
That's an interesting question, you know, like what's the biggest change? Because I don't know. I'm hoping that we have a big change to our healthcare system, a positive one though. Because I'm worried now that the Tories are going to try and push more for privatisation just because they struck a deal with private hospitals to get more beds and things, and I think obviously that's they helped us out. But I'm hoping that it's a change in the right direction. We need to be way more efficient. The NHS is working on old processes. We need to revamp, renew. So I'm hoping that healthcare changes to become more efficient, because it's ridiculous, too slow. It's too slow,
and obviously it's because the fact that it's free is stretched.
Yeah, that's the thing, it's stretched. China built that hospital. Sharpish.
How could you build a hospital and kill everyone in 50 days? What is this?
They're so efficient.
They're so efficient, man.
Too efficient. They're so efficient. We need that.
They need to start kind of low-key their fault, innit? Yeah. I don't want to start back in the man.
Yeah. More money into research, I hope.
Yeah.
Because they need to understand we need to be ahead of things.
The fact that the economy is about to crash.
Yeah, this is another thing as
well. What does that mean? Obviously, actually, you know what? I could talk about. I know bare people that have lost their jobs already.
Yeah.
People have lost their jobs. I've got a close friend of mine whose mum's not very well. She's had to drive like an hour away just to get medication, mental health medication. Yeah. That people are like not abusing, but people that don't really need it are using it in a time like this when this person's parent really does need this. So that it's affecting people in a bad way. That same person got let go from her job. You know what I'm saying? So like the world is actually, it's dead, man. You feel me?
It's dead. And the thing is, there will be after this, because things aren't going to go back to normal straight away. People are going to be shaken up. There might be more mental health issues. People might be trying to deal with okay.
Yeah. A little crumb. I forgot to remind you. You can see what I'm doing. I can't hide nothing. I'm just kind of like I'm just trying to sort myself out.
I wanted to ignore it, but I was like, is he okay?
Oh my days. Yeah.
So we're gonna have, I think, a very big sort of like low. I think we're going to see a lot more people with mental health issues. People are going to be very shaken up and traumatized by this, I think. And I think people might struggle with what just happened. People are struggling now, you know, having to stay at home. We were talking about it earlier, like what about those people who are from like abusive households and have to. So I think there's going to be a very big social shift. Really hoping, and I'm actually kind of hoping for like a revolution. I'm really hoping for a revolution because I think people need to speak out a lot more, and social media enables you to do that. So, but I mean, that's a big
revolution.
That's a big ask. But just for things to change socially, like there needs to be a social shift so that people can understand we need to care for others. It's not just me all the time. We're a community.
It's true. How we use our time in this epidemic is actually really important. It's funny because I was voice noting Kalaz yesterday. Big up Kalaz. He's gonna learn a new language this time, whatever. Yo, I listened to his voice note this morning. He said he's been brushing up on his Yoruba last night. You get me?
Yes,
so what a great time! What a great time!
Abs.
Come on,
doing lessons.
He even said that I think Ayo and Abs are helping Kalaz as well. So listen, teach yourself a new language, learn a new instrument, boxing,
all the
yoga,
things they've been wanting to do, yoga, meditation. Honestly, learn a new skill. I'm gonna get back on my knitting.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna blast me now.
Yo, I think she must have been doing knitting like 2-3 years ago.
I asked. I put in an order. I was quite late. Semi-late.
I don't think you were that late, to be honest.
Maybe I was quite fair enough then. I was quite early with my order. I wanted like a knitted kind of something just to put my hair in. You know, my locks are getting long now as well.
Do you know if you forgot what you ordered? I was like, I'm listening. Like, oh shit, yeah.
Right.
Obviously, it's Corona season, like I said, I can't hug you right now.
I know, it's such a shame.
Yo, I'm so happy that I've... Baz, thank you so much for being.
Of course, man. It's been a pleasure. This is fun.
My first ever guest. I've always been the first of many. Before I go, actually, Baz's Instagram's gonna go right here. I don't even know how to do that yet, but I'm gonna find my way to put Baz's Instagram there. My Instagram will be right next to hers because I'm sat right next to her now. Makes sense. And flipping, you got anything else to say?
No, man, not really. Just everyone stay safe and stay blessed.
Stay safe. Shout out the whole gang, by the way. Shout out everyone. Peace. Jeez, I'm gassed.